Imagine the strongest creature in the jungle, a silverback gorilla, standing over 6 feet tall, pure muscle and rage, a beast that can snap thick branches like twigs and toss predators like rag dolls. Now imagine its worst nightmare. What if a spider, yes, a spider, somehow grew to the same size? Its hairy legs towering, fangs dripping with venom, 8 beady eyes scanning the jungle for prey. This isn't your backyard bug anymore. This is something out of a nightmare. What happens when these two titans collide? No rules, no escape, just one-on-one, primal power versus monstrous mutation. Welcome to the most terrifying fight you've never imagined. Gorilla versus gorilla-sized spider. Stick around, because what happens next will blow your mind. Our fight takes place deep in the heart of the Congolese rainforest, a land shrouded in mystery and danger. The dense trees stretch high into the sky, blocking out most of the sunlight, creating an eerie, almost suffocating atmosphere. Thick vines hang from the branches, and the ground is covered in a maze of underbrush. The air is heavy with humidity, and the jungle is alive with the sounds of unseen creatures, distant roars, the rustle of leaves, and the call of unseen predators. But something far more terrifying is lurking just beyond the shadows. This is a jungle where survival is a daily battle. Every predator is hunting, and every animal is on high alert. The visibility is limited. Even the strongest creatures must rely on their senses to navigate. In these conditions, every step could be your last. The perfect environment for an ambush, or the perfect stage for a showdown between two of the deadliest creatures alive. The ground trembles with the weight of these powerful creatures, and the fight for dominance is about to begin. The silverback gorilla is a creature of immense power, unmatched in its strength and ferocity. Standing over 6 feet tall and weighing up to 400 pounds, it is a force of nature. With broad shoulders and thick, muscular arms, the gorilla is built for raw power. Its body is a fortress of dense muscle, capable of lifting and throwing objects far heavier than most creatures could even imagine. When it strikes, it's like a freight train, unstoppable and relentless. But the gorilla isn't just brute strength. It's highly intelligent, capable of using tools and solving problems in ways that few animals can. A gorilla's mind is sharp, and it uses its wits to navigate the dangers of the jungle. Its intelligence allows it to adapt to its environment, and its emotional depth makes it a highly strategic creature when it comes to survival. In the wild, a gorilla will use its environment to its advantage, whether that's using a stick to defend itself or cleverly navigating the dense foliage to escape danger. With its powerful jaws, capable of crushing bones, and its towering presence, the gorilla is truly the king of its domain. There is no question that it is the ultimate apex predator in its natural habitat. But how will it fare when faced with an unimaginable foe, one that it's never encountered before? Now, enter the spider. But this isn't just any spider. This is a monstrous, mutated nightmare. Imagine a spider the size of a gorilla, its legs stretching out several feet, each one covered in thick, bristling hair. Its body is like a dark, menacing ball of terror, glistening with an almost unnatural sheen under the dim light of the jungle. Its fangs, large enough to puncture thick skin, drip with venom, ready to paralyze anything that dares cross its path. This spider's agility is terrifying. Despite its massive size, it moves with a speed that defies expectations. Its legs are built for swift, fluid motion, enabling it to crawl along trees, over rocks, and across the jungle floor in the blink of an eye. It can drop silently from above, attacking with deadly precision, and retreat into the shadows just as quickly. Its webbing is strong enough to trap creatures much larger than typical prey, and it's capable of spinning webs that can block paths, ensnare victims, or create deadly traps. But what makes this spider even more horrifying is its incredible stealth. It can blend into its environment, making it almost impossible to detect until it's too late. It's the perfect predator, a creature that uses both its monstrous size and cunning to stalk and hunt its prey. And now, it's facing a beast that no spider should ever have to confront, a creature far stronger than any prey it's ever known. The air is thick with tension as the two predators close in on each other. The gorilla, alert and powerful, senses something isn't right. Its muscles tense as it scans the surroundings, its deep growls echoing through the jungle. Suddenly, a movement catches its eye, a flash of dark legs descending from above. Without warning, the spider drops down, landing silently on the ground with its massive legs spreading out, ready to strike. The gorilla roars in defiance, slamming its chest and stepping forward with immense power. Its eyes lock on the spider, and in that instant, it charges, using its sheer strength to close the distance in a matter of seconds. The spider reacts quickly, launching itself backward in a burst of speed, its webbing shooting out to try and entangle the gorilla. But the silverback is too fast, tearing through the sticky threads with ease, its fists ready to land a crushing blow. The spider darts in, its fangs glinting, aiming for the gorilla's neck. With a swift movement, the gorilla swings its arm in a wide arc, knocking the spider back, but not without a cost. The spider's venomous fangs graze its arm, leaving a faint mark. The fight intensifies as the gorilla and spider continue to clash, the jungle around them becoming a battleground of primal instincts. The gorilla uses its brute force to deliver thunderous punches, but the spider's agility and speed allow it to evade most of the strikes, leaping from tree to tree and attacking from unexpected angles. The ground trembles with each strike as both creatures give their all in this deadly confrontation. There's no clear winner yet, only the clash of raw power against the relentless precision of a monstrous predator. As the fight continues, the battle for dominance reaches new heights. The gorilla, though powerful, is beginning to feel the toll of the spider's relentless attacks. Each strike from the spider, each web it shoots, seems to slow the gorilla down. The venom from the spider's fangs has already begun to take effect. The gorilla's movements aren't as quick, and its once unstoppable strength seems to be waning. The spider, however, isn't without its weaknesses. Its massive size, despite its agility, makes it a target. The gorilla, now fully aware of the spider's speed and stealth, begins to use its environment to its advantage. It grabs a large branch, swinging it like a club, trying to keep the spider at bay. With every swing, the spider barely dodges, using its webbing to propel itself backward and avoid the blows. But the gorilla isn't giving up. It keeps coming, relentless, roaring in fury. The spider retaliates with a new tactic. It begins spinning its web at a faster rate, creating an almost invisible trap around the gorilla. The webs cling to its fur, making it harder for the gorilla to move with the same speed and power. With each attempt to break free, the gorilla becomes more entangled and the spider closes in. But the gorilla isn't finished yet. It's not just strength that makes it the king of the jungle, it's also its ability to adapt. In a moment of quick thinking, the gorilla uses the webbing against the spider, luring it into a trap of its own. With one mighty leap, the gorilla swings the branch, knocking the spider off balance and sending it crashing to the ground. Now, it's anyone's game. Both creatures are battered and bruised, but neither is willing to back down. The jungle around them is silent, holding its breath, as the final showdown inches closer. Who will emerge victorious in this nightmare fight? The final moments of the fight are upon us, and the jungle holds its breath. The gorilla, exhausted and covered in webbing, stands tall, its eyes locked on the spider as it struggles to regain its footing. The spider, too, is battered, its massive legs twitching in pain, its once agile movements now slowed by the force of the gorilla's blows. Both creatures are on the edge, and the next move could determine the outcome of this deadly clash. In a moment of desperation, the spider lunges forward, its fangs bared, aiming for the gorilla's throat. The gorilla, with a final burst of energy, swings the branch upward with all its might, sending the spider flying backward into a tangle of vines. The spider screeches, struggling to regain its balance, but the gorilla is already charging, its eyes wild with fury. It doesn't stop. It's a collision of raw power and primal instinct as the gorilla lands a devastating blow, slamming its fist into the spider's body with bone-crushing force. The spider writhes, but it can't escape. The gorilla grabs hold of its massive legs, pulling them apart with unbelievable strength. The jungle quakes with each pull, the air thick with the scent of battle. With one final roar, the gorilla lifts the spider into the air and throws it down with a force that shakes the earth itself. The spider lets out a horrible screech, its limbs twitching as it lies defeated on the jungle floor. The gorilla stands over its fallen opponent, chest heaving with heavy breaths. It's bloodied, bruised, and battered, but it's victorious. The spider, once a terrifying force of nature, lies still, no longer a threat. The battle is over. The gorilla, the jungle king, has claimed its place once again. But what a fight it was. A fight that tested the limits of strength, speed, and survival. Only one predator could stand tall in the end, and it was the gorilla. Now let's step back for a moment and ask ourselves, what if this battle actually happened in real life? Could a spider really grow to the size of a gorilla? Let's explore the science behind this terrifying scenario. First off, the idea of a spider reaching such a massive size is highly unlikely, but not entirely impossible, at least in theory. The larger a creature gets, the more difficult it becomes for its body to function properly, especially when it comes to insects and arachnids. This is due to the way oxygen is transported throughout their bodies. Spiders rely on passive diffusion to absorb oxygen, meaning that as they get larger, they'd have a hard time getting enough oxygen to their cells. This makes it unlikely that a spider could grow to the size of a gorilla in real life. However, in a fictional world, a spider of this size could potentially have evolved new ways to adapt. Maybe it would have developed a more efficient system for oxygen distribution. Or perhaps it could rely on different metabolic strategies. Still, even in such a world, the structural limits of its exoskeleton would be a serious problem. As spiders grow, their exoskeleton becomes heavier, and they would need an incredibly strong structure to support that size, a feat that nature has never achieved. On the other hand, the gorilla, as terrifying as it is a real-world powerhouse. Its muscles are specifically designed for strength, endurance, and adaptability. The silverback gorilla's ability to use tools and its impressive intelligence would make it a serious challenge for even the most fearsome opponents. When faced with a predator like a giant spider, the gorilla's raw physical strength and problem-solving abilities would likely be its biggest advantage. But what about the venom? In reality, a gorilla would be highly resistant to venomous attacks due to its thick skin and the size of its body. The spider's venom, while potentially deadly, might not have the same immediate effect on such a massive creature. Still, if the spider managed to land a strike, the gorilla would have to rely on its immense endurance to push through the pain and continue fighting. Ultimately, this battle is a perfect mix of fantasy and science fiction. It's a scenario that pushes the limits of nature and imagination, asking the question, what would happen if these two apex predators went head-to-head in the most extreme way possible? This might not be something that could ever happen in real life, but it's a fun thought experiment that challenges our understanding of the natural world and the creatures that inhabit it. So, what's the moral of this insane showdown? Well, it's not just about strength or speed, it's about survival. In the wild, creatures must adapt, strategize, and evolve to face the challenges around them. The gorilla's raw power and intelligence gave it the upper hand in this battle, but it had to use more than just brute force to win. It had to adapt to the spider's stealth, avoid its deadly webs, and outlast its venomous strikes. It's the same in the real world. In nature, survival isn't about being the biggest or the fastest. It's about being the most adaptable. Whether it's a gorilla using a stick as a weapon or a spider spinning its web to trap its prey, both creatures have honed their skills over time to be the best in their respective domains. But when they're pushed to their limits, both must rely on instinct, intelligence, and the will to survive. In the end, the gorilla emerges victorious. But this fight shows us just how dangerous and unpredictable nature can be. Who's to say what would happen if these creatures evolved in different ways or encountered different environments? One thing's for sure, nature is always full of surprises. If you enjoyed this epic battle, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more wild showdowns, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think would win in this fight? Would the gorilla have pulled through? Or was the spider destined to reign supreme? Let us know. And we'll see you in the next adventure.